You're watching the Brother Henry and You Show.
Engaging. Informative. Inspirational.
Enjoy today's program.
Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. Once again, we are doing a series called A Walk Through Rejection. I am your host, Henry Harris. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in today. And we want to continue our series on rejection. Today we're going to talk about what's wrong with me. How many know that if you have experienced rejection, no matter in what capacity you may have experienced it, it does make you ask yourself that question, or at least for me, what's wrong with me? It makes you start to feel like that there's something wrong with you, or maybe I did something wrong. Why do you feel this way? So that's why we're going to talk about that today. So no matter who you are, anyone who has received rejection often asks themselves this question: what's wrong with me? What didn't I do right? In what ways didn't I measure up? This is truly an ongoing battle in the minds of so many people today, feeling that something is wrong with them because they were rejected. I'm here to tell you that that is a lie. Just because you were rejected doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Rejection oftentimes gives us a different perspective, not only on life, but even how we view ourselves. Rejection has a way of making you feel less than or devalued. And I know that from experience. Rejection does make you feel less than or devalued. Rejection has a way of causing you to look at life from a new perspective or a different perspective, maybe a perspective about yourself that you didn't even know. So this is what I've learned. Some people will only see themselves through the lens of rejection that they have received. Now that's deep. Some people will only see themselves through the rejection that they have received. So, therefore, by them being rejected, and through rejection, now they look at themselves and they're saying something is wrong with me. Well, the only reason why you see yourself that way is because you were rejected. If you say, well, I feel devalued, well, you only see yourself that way because you were rejected. You're viewing your life and your being through the lens of rejection. Being rejected changes how you see yourself. You may not at one time see yourself as loved, valued, important, special, needed, smart, intelligent, good. But once you are rejected, you start to see the opposite. And many people even go as far as agreeing with the rejection they've received and conforming to the image that rejection has created for them. So at one time you've seen yourself as good, valued, important, intelligent, beautiful. You've seen yourself but now that you receive rejection, now you're seeing yourself in a different light. And you start to conform to that image that rejection has created for you. And many people have done that from time to time. So we have to ask this important question. A very important question. How do I view myself? Now you understand, we're not talking about everybody else. We're talking about you. How do I view myself? After being rejected, this is what you call self-image. How do I view myself when I'm rejected? How do you see yourself as you really are? How do you? I'm asking you that right now. When somebody rejects you, how do you see yourself? How do you view yourself when you are rejected? It is not only important to deal with rejection, but also shifting your perspective of yourself, because you are not devalued. You're not a less than. You are just as important. You're just as loved as anyone else. If rejection has caused you to see yourself in a negative light, you have just given rejection power over you. If you've allowed rejection to take over your life in such a way where you're starting to view yourself through the lens of rejection, I'm devalued, I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, I'm no good. When you start to view yourself this way, you have just then given rejection complete domain, authority, and power over your life. Will you allow rejection to win today? Rejection is a wimp. Will you allow rejection, or will you be the bigger person and say, you know what? I am not the image that rejection has created for me. Neither will I view myself through the lens of rejection, because I am not what rejection is calling me. I am not what rejection is trying to create in my life. I refuse to give rejection that much power. I refuse to give rejection that much attention to change how I view myself, to change my perspective about myself and who I truly am. It's time that we start seeing the good in us and not allow rejection to change that. You need to see the good in you today. Even you may, well, I'm just bad. No, it's time for you to start seeing the good in you. You have some good in you. I don't care what your record looks like at the police station. I don't care what you've done in the past. You still have some good in you. You are good. We tend to believe something is wrong with us, but what if I told you this? There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. You are perfect just the way you are. You are special just the way you are. And don't change who you are for the purposes of rejection or anyone else, as a matter of fact. Be you. You know, I've often said this, people that are real don't have to try to be. They just are. Just be you. Be authentic to others. Be authentic to yourselves. You will make the world a better place. Sometimes on the outside looking in, everything is utterly perfect. But instead of striving for perfection on the outside, why don't we see ourselves as perfect on the inside? Many times on the outside, we fix the makeup, the nice haircut. We look all good on the outside. We want to make sure we look great. But on the inside, we're just full of rejection. We're full of all the things that rejection has caused in our lives. And we don't focus on the inside, because how many know that everything starts from within and then it works its way out? You can look good on the outside, but inwardly, you're still dealing with some hurt, some unresolved pain and issues inwardly that you have to deal with. And that's very important. Instead of focusing on the external and how rejection makes us feel, let's focus internally. Rejection does affect us both externally and internally, no matter who you are. Rejection has a way of doing that. So I believe oftentimes we put too much focus on the outside rather the inside. So let's talk about, for a chance, let's talk about what's right with you. You know, you sit down all day and talk about, well, this is wrong with me and that's wrong with me and I was rejected for this reason. Okay, I don't doubt that. But for a second, let's talk about what's right with you instead of talking about what's wrong with you. Now, I want to give you 6 things that's right about you before we go to a close. Number 1, you are good. Yeah, you. You are good. Number 2, you are the most perfect person there is. Number 3, you are enough. Number 4, you are unique. just the way you are. Number 5, you are filled with possibilities. Number 6, you are courageous and you are confident. I'm going to stop right there. Number 6, I can go on and on about seeing the good inside of you. Yes, I'm talking to you right there that's watching this show right now. I can go on and on about telling you how wonderful you are, how there's nothing wrong with you. But you know what? It will do you no good until you see yourself this way. And see yourself as accepted. See yourself as good. See yourself filled with possibilities. You can be and do anything because you are equipped to do it. There is nothing wrong with you today. Don't give rejection that much power to cause you to think differently about yourself. I appreciate you for watching today. I want you to tune in next week. We will go into part 5 of the walk through rejection, and we're going to talk about something pretty serious. It's very hurtful when you're rejected by friends and co-workers or whoever, or maybe people out on the street. But it's another thing to experience that rejection in your own house, in your own marriage, with family and relationships. How do we cope with that? How do we deal with that? We'll talk about that next week.
Hi, my name's Heather. Thank you for watching the Brother Henry and You show today. If you've enjoyed the show today, visit us at facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You show. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day.